Did Doctor Who just fake its biggest regeneration ever? Is Billie Piper really the Doctor, or has the BBC pulled the ultimate misdirection? You watched it. You saw it. Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor smiles, walks out into space. And then, she appears. Rose Tyler, Bad Wolf, or something new entirely? The truth may be more dangerous than we were ever meant to know. Because what Russell T Davies just said changes everything. No confirmation. No denial. Just a shrug and a chilling phrase. I have no idea. But this isn't a charming brush off. This is the sound of a showrunner stalling, or worse, buying time. Because for the first time in decades, Doctor Who may have no plan. And Billie Piper's return could be both the most exciting and the most reckless decision in the show's modern history. We're about to uncover a truth buried under headlines, misquotes, and desperate nostalgia. And it starts with a question no one in the BBC dares to answer. What happens when a dying show decides to resurrect itself using a face from the past without knowing what it's resurrecting? Subscribe now, because what we're about to reveal is the kind of information that may disappear before it ever reaches mainstream media. Just once, hit that button. Then keep watching, because Doctor Who didn't just regenerate into Billie Piper, it regenerated into a gamble. And the cracks in the facade, they're starting to show. Let's rewind. For over 2 seasons, Ncuti Gatwa was the Doctor. Young, dynamic, boundary-breaking. The first openly queer Doctor. The first under Disney's global brand expansion. And then, without warning, his story ends in the reality war, and Rose Tyler emerges from his light. But here's the twist: we weren't told who she is. The show didn't say, "This is the new Doctor." It didn't say, "This is Bad Wolf." It didn't say anything. Just a smile, a silhouette, and a million unanswered questions. And when Russell T Davies, the very architect of the modern era, was asked what it all means, he shrugged. I have no idea. But if you think that's just showbiz coyness, think again. This isn't just ambiguity, it's a red flag. Because behind closed doors there's chaos. The Disney deal, quietly falling apart. Season 16, unannounced, unplanned, unfunded. And Billie Piper's casting. It wasn't built on narrative logic. It was built on desperation. Davies isn't steering a story. He's surfing a content wave. His own words. Internet-age storytelling. What does that mean? It means generating moments, not stories. It means algorithmic cliffhangers, not arcs. It means regenerating the Doctor into Billie Piper, because people will talk about it online, not because the story earned it. And that brings us to the real issue. Is Billie Piper even playing the Doctor? You may think she is. You may want her to be. But listen closely. Davies has never confirmed it. And with whispers that she's playing a new form of Bad Wolf. Or something entirely unknown. The truth is far more unstable than fans realize. Because if Piper's return isn't really a new incarnation, then Doctor Who just faked a regeneration. And if it is a new incarnation, it was decided with no long-term plan. Twice now, Davies has rewritten the rules. First, he brought back David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. A shocking move, sure, but arguably earned. Now he's done it again. But where Tennant's return was wrapped in anniversary nostalgia, Billie Piper's is something stranger, something hollow. There's no arc, no clear motive, no promise. Just a flash, a face, and silence. Because that's the trick, isn't it? Internet storytelling doesn't need closure. It needs engagement. And what's more engaging than transforming your lead actor into a fan, favorite face, and refusing to explain it? It's brilliant. It's manipulative. And it might just be the thing that ends Doctor Who. Because you can only break the rules so many times before the universe you've built collapses in on itself. Let's talk patterns. When Christopher Eccleston regenerated, we got David Tennant, a fresh face. When Tennant regenerated, we got Matt Smith, brand new. Capaldi, Whittaker, Gatwa. Each time, the baton passed forward. But now, Doctor Who is turning back. Instead of exploring the unknown, it's mining nostalgia. First Tennant, now Piper. What happens next? Tom Baker again. It's a loop. And like all loops, it leads nowhere. Because Billie Piper, as brilliant as she is, isn't a story engine. She's a symbol, a beacon of a golden age. And when a show starts clinging to its own myth, that's when it starts to die. Russell T Davies may be hoping that this trick, this moment of manufactured mystery, will buy him time. But time, ironically, is the one thing the Doctor is running out of. There are no confirmed scripts for season 16, no confirmed cast, No air date, and worst of all, no vision. Because Davies isn't writing Doctor Who anymore. He's remixing it. One scene at a time. One trend at a time. Regeneration into Piper wasn't part of a grand arc. It was a flash grenade, a distraction. And now that the dust is settling, we're left asking what next? Where is the Tar Device going? Is Billie Piper the Doctor? Or is she a placeholder? Is this the dawn of a new era, or the final flicker of an old flame? These questions shouldn't be lingering. They should have been answered. But Davies doesn't have those answers. He said it himself. I have no idea. And the more we dig, the more it becomes clear. The person who brought Doctor Who back from the dead in 2005 may be the one burying it in 2025. And Billie Piper, she may be caught in the middle of the most chaotic moment in the show's history. But this is just the beginning. Because the mystery of Piper's return goes deeper. And what we're about to uncover could change everything you think you know about the Time Lords, the future of the series, and the real reason Billie Piper stepped back into the tarred ice. So why bring back Billie Piper now? Why her? Why this way? Why now? When viewership is collapsing, Disney is silent, and the BBC hasn't even confirmed a future. Because this wasn't the plan. It was the panic. Insiders whisper that Russell T Davies had originally written a regeneration for Ncuti Gatwa into a completely new actor, a true 16th Doctor. New face, new tone, new season. But behind the scenes, cracks formed. The Disney partnership, which was supposed to save Doctor Who, began to fracture. First came delays, then creative disagreements, then silence. And when the reality war aired, insiders say the decision to regenerate into Billie Piper was made just weeks before broadcast. Let that sink in. The biggest twist in modern Doctor Who was rushed. No long arc, no structured plan, just a sudden choice. Why? Because Billie Piper trends. Because Billie Piper sells headlines. Because Billie Piper distracts you. And that is the forbidden truth at the heart of all this Doctor Who is no longer trying to tell a story. It's trying to survive the algorithm. You were meant to ask, is she the new Doctor? You were meant to argue, debate, click, comment. But you were never meant to get an answer. Russell T Davies doesn't need an answer. He needs engagement. This is the secret behind his internet age storytelling. Comment, the one you were never meant to take seriously. Because if every episode is designed to go viral, then story no longer matters. Consistency no longer matters. Lore no longer matters. All that matters is noise. And who better to generate noise than Rose Tyler? But there's a deeper, darker layer. Because if Billie Piper isn't the new Doctor, what is she? Some claim she's Bad Wolf again, a cosmic echo of Rose, reborn from time. Some say she's the moment, resurrected for the post-Time War age, and others believe she's something new entirely. A bit-generated anomaly, a hybrid, a byproduct of the multiverse. But here's the terrifying thing, not even the writers know. Because there's no evidence of a long-term script, no companion casting, no title for the next season. Just a rumor, a stunt, a regeneration into chaos. This isn't how Doctor Who works. Or at least, it wasn't. Once, this show cared about structure. It respected its rules, even as it bent them. Now, rules are liabilities. Canon is optional. Continuity is just another thing to subvert. And the consequences are already showing. Fans who once rejoiced at Davies' return are now turning away. Old viewers are confused. New ones are alienated. And Billie Piper, once the heart of Doctor Who's revival, is now at the center of a storm she never asked for. Make no mistake, this isn't about whether she can play the Doctor. She can. She's brilliant. She's powerful. She earned her legacy. But being the Doctor isn't just about one actor. It's about the arc, the world, the tone, the journey. And right now, there is no journey, just a loop of familiar faces and fading hope. We must ask, why did Russell T Davies bring back Tennant as the 14th Doctor? Because it worked. It got the fans talking. It boosted ratings. Briefly. It made headlines. So why not do it again? Bring back Piper. Shock everyone. Don't explain it. Let speculation do the work. But when you use the same magic trick twice, people start to see the strings. And those strings, they're fraying. Let's not forget, we've seen this before. The franchise once relied too heavily on nostalgia, and it nearly collapsed. The 1980s saw the show lose its identity, trying to chase ratings with familiar monsters, recycled villains, empty spectacle. And what happened? Doctor Who was cancelled. It took 16 years and a reboot to bring it back. Now, History is repeating itself. We've entered a feedback loop, where the show exists not to tell stories, but to reference itself. And Billie Piper's return isn't a rebirth, it's a recursion. The truth is Doctor Who no longer knows what it wants to be. Spy epic, soap opera, meme engine. Russell T Davies, once a master of emotional storytelling, now seems content with emotional provocation, shock regenerations, cryptic interviews, narrative dead ends, and when confronted with the question of what comes next, I have no idea. Not, I can't say. Not, it's a secret. Just nothing. And that silence is louder than any plot twist, because it tells us this was never meant to be explained. And yet, fans are desperate to believe. We want to believe this is part of something bigger. That Piper's return will make sense. That season 16 is coming. That a brilliant story is waiting in the wings. But hope is not a strategy, and nostalgia is not a plot. Until there's a showrunner willing to say, here's the next Doctor. Here's their mission. Here's their era. We're just spinning in circles. And here's the final, forbidden truth. If the show fails to move forward, it will collapse inward. Doctor Who doesn't need another familiar face. It needs direction. It needs conviction. It needs risk, not retreat. Because if the next season is just more mysteries, more echoes, more moments, then we're not watching Doctor Who. We're watching its ghost. And Billie Piper, as luminous as she is, deserves better than to be reduced to clickbait. So the question remains, is she the 16th Doctor? Or is she a symbol of a show that's lost its way? One thing is certain. Until the BBC confirms season 16, until we know her name, her story, her path, Billie Piper isn't the future. She's the question mark. And Doctor Who is out of answers.